Hey everyone, I apologize first and foremost for not uploading this on Monday as I said I would. Things got away with me. My puppy is not doing so well. She has tummy troubles and has been in need of all of my attention over the weekend. So I did not get to edit as much as I had hoped. I am filming this intro after I did all the swatching. So we're gonna cheat a little bit. We're gonna pretend that I have not touched this yet. I also wanted to tell you that Lightwish also sent me some chalk pastel colored pencils for me to try out. And let's just say they weren't what I was expecting. Let's just leave it at that. And later down in the video, you will know what I'm talking about and it'll all be clear what I meant by this. But for now, we're gonna put this one to the side and we're gonna talk about the watercolor set. If you watched my video from last Friday, you will have already seen me play around with these. But basically, this is the 48 set. And it also comes in the 24 set. And before I forget, there is a 15% discount code for you guys in the description below that is valid until this Friday the 23rd. So if you are watching this video for the first time and you want to see how some of those colors interact with each other, go ahead and watch the last video and it'll be there. What you get is a tin that is wrapped with this microfiber cloth, and the tin itself is very nice and very big, and it's got plenty of spaces for you to mix your colors. Even when you take the insert out, there will be more places for you to mix your colors in, which is wonderful. I am popping in some footage of what it looked like when it was still brand new and beautiful. It also comes with a brush that I have since used, and I have a review of the brush in the other video. But before I babble on any longer, we're gonna go ahead and switch over to the voiceover and how I am swatching these colors. And when I am done with these, at the end, I am also popping in the footage from swatching these ones and creating something with them, some of the colors. So let's go ahead and switch over to the voiceover. I had already swatched them on the swatching card that came with the set, but for the sake of this video, I pulled out my Hahnemühle watercolor paper just to see if it made a little bit more of a difference if I used a little bit more textured paper. So the first thing I did was I sectioned the paper into 48 spaces. It took up the whole paper. I thought I was going to be able to have a little bit more space for each color, but I ended up not being able to do that. I could have chosen a bigger paper, but I don't have one in a good quality. It is what it is. I then went ahead and labeled each section with the color number and the color name. I didn't have space to write down the pigment numbers or the transparency on this paper, but I have labeled it in this video so that you know exactly which colors they are and what they're made of. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I know what I'm talking about, meaning the numbers, the pigment numbers to me don't mean as much as they do to other people, but I have them listed for those of you who do know, and I know for a lot of you it is important to know what those pigments are. It looks like we're starting out with the most amazing color, huh? But anyway, that is titanium white for you. I also am laying down some water first, just to make that spot wet enough for the colors to move around a little bit. So if there is nothing on the paper when I'm using the brush, that is because I am putting down water first. The second color is Skin, and it was a pretty creamy color. I did spray down the colors before I started, but I have found that it is not necessary. And in fact, by the time I was done with the first row, half the pan was already dry, so I ended up using them without having them wet. Then we have Naples Yellow Light. Now, I think it is misspelled. I wrote it down as in Naples, the city, and they have spelled it differently. So that's what you see on screen, but on the paper, I spelled it the way I thought it was supposed to be spelled. It doesn't matter. It is probably translated from Chinese, so I am pretty sure that there is some spelling errors to be expected. In fact, there were another couple of ones that I had questions about the spelling, but for the sake of this video, we're just gonna ignore them and just go with what is on the screen. In their wet stage, the Naples yellow and the permanent lemon yellow look pretty similar, but once they're dry, you can tell that the Naples yellow is a little bit more muted. The permanent lemon yellow is very, very bright. With these next 4 yellows, I am going to say that was a little bit much. They don't differ very much at all. I would want to say that the cadmium yellow here is maybe a little bit different, but this permanent yellow medium and then the transparent medium yellow, they are in exactly the same on paper. In fact, as you will see, they have the same pigment number. So I'm not sure exactly why they included both. The number up top on the paper is different, so maybe there is something else in it. It does not show in the description, however. And even when I show it at the end of the swatching, you will see that there is barely a difference. Now, this next one, the gamboge yellow, is just slightly more orange. I like the gamboge yellow, but I have seen gamboge yellows that are much more intense and a little bit more on the orange side. To make it maybe a little bit more scientific, I was trying to pick up about the same amount of color for each one, so that it hopefully becomes a little bit more apparent as to how well they pick up and how well they move on the paper. And you can see very easily later on as we get to the darker colors, some of them, not all of them, but some of them I had to barely touch my brush into the pigment and it picked it right up and it was intense. The color was amazing, and others I had a hard time. And for those that I needed to dip my brush in a little bit more, I left that footage in just so that you can see the difference. Like for example, this cadmium orange yellow here was one of those very highly pigmented colors. Again, those next two oranges are about the same. So this cadmium orange yellow and the cadmium orange, I don't see much of a difference, not even in its dried stage. The Indian yellow again was a little bit more muted than those two, but they probably could have gotten away with including just one of those oranges in this set. Then we have the permanent orange red, which kind of reminds me of the vermilion color, the one that is included in the Kuretake Art Nouveau set. Very pretty. The next row, we're getting into the pinks and the reds and the purples, and I basically love all of them. There is some really pretty pinks in it. I like this scarlet one, and again, that one was very, very highly pigmented, and I did not need a whole lot of that on my brush to get a good, nice saturated color. In fact, I had a hard time diluting it in the bottom part because there was so much color on my brush. I really like when there are good pinks and purples included in a set, because sometimes you just need that extra pop of color. Then we have two reds included. One is this Chinese red and the next one is the cadmium red. And while the Chinese red is slightly brighter than the cadmium red, I personally wouldn't need two of them. They are both beautiful and I can see myself use them interchangeably. None of these colors are labeled as granulating colors, but I have to say the better paper gives them a little bit more movement, which I was happy to see. The next color up is rose red, and that is the pink that I used in my painting from last week. Why they call it red, I don't know, because it is the most beautiful pink you've ever seen. It is so bright and so just sparkly that I can see myself using that one quite a lot. The Madder Red is a mix between, I want to say, the cadmium red and the scarlet. It is a little bit more burgundy, and it's really hard sometimes to capture the exact hue on camera, but that's what I would describe it as. Then we have Violet, which again is almost a darker hue of the Rose Red, which is really a pink. And again, a very pretty color, just not as vibrant as the Rose Red is. Next are two purples. One is the Royal Purple and the other one is the Permanent Violet. Both are gorgeous. However, the Permanent Violet is so pigmented that even in its dry stage, it looks almost black. I really didn't need to use all of that paint on my brush, but sometimes you just don't know how well they pick up. And this one here, the Royal Purple, is a little bit more on the pink side, and the Permanent Violet seems to be a little bit more on the blue side, which makes sense because that's where we're headed and that's where we came from. But look at that. It is so thick and so creamy and so intense. It's a little intimidating. Wow, look at these two colors. I can't really say the same of this cobalt blue. Now I'm trying to pick it up, and sometimes you can immediately tell when you roll the brush in the pigment that how well it picks it up and how intense it's gonna be. This was very anticlimactic coming from such a strong purple. I had a really hard time making this one work on paper. It's sad because this is also the blue that I used in my painting from last week, and I really like this color, but it was really difficult to pick it up and make it work on the paper. But fear not, because indigo is gonna make up for it. Again, indigo is just like the Permanent Violet, so intense. Look at that. Again, it almost looks black, and that is just crazy to me. So this indigo and the Royal Purple are the first two of 6 that are mixed colors. So there's only 6 colors in this set that have 2 or more pigments in them, which I think is really nice. For someone like me who likes to mix colors on paper with lots of water, it's nice to know that I can choose colors and not have them be so muddy when I work with them. This is the France Ultramarine. I think they might have wanted to say French Ultramarine, but I am not certain. So France Ultramarine it is for this purpose. And just like the cobalt blue, it was giving me a hard time getting on that brush. The Peacock Blue is the only color that starts with the. And you will see why. I mean, look at this color. It is something. It deserves a the before the color. Don't you think? Look at this blue. It is so gorgeous. And again, that was in the painting that I used, that I did last week. I actually think sea blue should have deserved a the in front of it as well, because boy, that is gorgeous. Don't get me wrong, I like my blues, but that is so gosh darn intense and beautiful. I love it. And then we have Prussian blue, which is also a very nice blue in this set. This one actually dried quite nice dark blue. Some of the Prussian blues that I've seen lean more towards gray, but this one actually stayed quite nice as a dark blue. Then we have Penny Gray, and at first I thought they made a mistake and they were meant to say Payne's Gray, but Payne's Gray is actually the next one up. This one is a great gray. Then we have Payne's Gray, and I almost dare to say that there was just the teensiest bit of granulation in that color, which got me very excited. Another wonderful color that you need very little of. It's very, very intense and a little bit intimidating, I'm not gonna lie. Look at that. I had to push the color up a little bit because there was so much pigment on there that it just wanted to travel everywhere. This turquoise light was the better of the two. I like it, but I am not thrilled with it. I also don't understand why they call the next color turquoise deep, because it is actually a baby blue. Someone enlighten me. I don't know. Do I just not know my colors? But that would definitely fall into like a baby blue for me and not a turquoise deep. I would have thought turquoise deep would mean that you would get a more richer color of the light. But someone help me out here. It's still a pretty color, but it's just, they are a little bit too white for me. There's a like a white undertone that you get from them. Now we're heading into the green territory, and we're starting out with malachite green. And oh, beautiful. That I think is also one of the colors that I used in the painting from last week. It is so pretty. Both this one and the emerald green deep that's following, they're really two beautiful blue greens. Now, don't come for me. I know both of them kind of look the same, and yes, you could probably get away with just one, but it's a blue green. Come on. You gotta love it. Then we have Hooker's Green, which they call Hooker's Green Brillite. Again, I'm not sure if that was a typo or if that's what they meant to call it, but regardless, it's a beautiful green. The olive green is also a very nice color if you are painting landscapes or, you know, trees, greenery, foliage, stuff like that. It's a nice color to have. Is it my favorite? No, but it is a good color to have in your assortment for sure. I also really liked this tree green here. It is a really pretty green, and while it's quite bright, it is not too bright. It's almost like a sap green, I would call that. Very, very pretty. Permanent green is next, and that is sort of a Lego green color. You know what I'm talking about. It's when you get the Lego set with the green bottom where you can place all your Legos on to, you know, connect them and start building your house. That is the green, and that's exactly what it reminds me of. Yellow green is super bright, even in its dry stage. It really speaks for itself, that one. I could definitely see myself using that. Now the lemon sienna, even in its dried stage, reminds me a lot of the Naples yellow light that we had in the beginning. Looking at them next to each other, they are almost identical. I want to say the lemon sienna has just the tiniest hint more of green in it, but it is not enough for me to make a difference. The next three colors that follow, I just can't get excited over, okay? They're ochre. They're three different shades of ochre. So yeah, I mean, again, for somebody who paints a lot of sceneries and, you know, landscapes, that might be a great color to have. I just can't get excited over it. And maybe I will in the future, but right now they're just meh to me. And in fact, this is the Maple Yellow, and as you may recall, I was just talking about the Naples Yellow Light, which was the third color that we used. And so that is its darker buddy. And again, yeah, in its dry stage, I also don't like it. I just don't. I mean, of the three, I could get most excited, and that's a stretch. Most excited by the raw umber. And that is as much as I'm gonna say about these three colors. I love me a good umber, and while this is not as intense as a burnt umber, it's still a good one to have in this set. I think it might pair really nicely with the gamboge yellow, any kind of yellow, obviously. And I would also think that it would look really nice with the pinks and the purples. Now this one I have actually never heard of. Pozzoli Red Ochre, and I hope I pronounced that correctly. It sounds very Italian. So if you have heard of this color before, let me know, because I have never heard of it before. It is a nice red-brown, reddish brown. Then we have the Van Dyke Brown. And also that one felt the same in applying it as the Cobalt and the French Ultramarine. I mean, I am really twirling that brush in that pigment and it just does not want to come off. And normally I would think that that would be a nice intense color. It just wouldn't let me. I had to keep going back in and get some more, and that was a little frustrating. All right, friends, we're almost done. Are you still with me? Yes? Good. We have Burnt Sienna coming up. And that also was a color that needed a little bit more love in getting it out of the pan. I'm just not sure if those are just bad mixes coming from the factory, or if they are just not as intense, and that is on purpose. Because when you have these really intense ones that pick up really quickly and beautifully, and then you end up, wanting to do the same with all of them, it's a little bit of a letdown. Still a nice color, but yeah, it's very hard to build up. Second to last is Burnt Brown, and that's exactly what it looks like. A little bit more intense than the last couple, but still it's a little shy. It's a little shy, that color. And with every set, I feel like you need a good black, that you can really make a statement with. Although I've never used black watercolor before. Well, I have, but I never mix it in with any other color. Yet I am looking for a good intense black. And while this one is okay, it's not as black as I would have hoped it to look. I have seen some really, really intense blacks, and this unfortunately is not one of them. It's still a good black, but it's a little less intense than what I would have hoped it to be. And so I waited for them all to dry before showing you in detail and up close so that you can really see the difference in how they dried. Overall, I'm very happy with the set. I think it's a set that will get a lot of use. And I'm almost certain that if you are to choose the 24 set, you would be just as excited with the colors that come in that one. All right, we're not quite done yet because I am still reviewing the colored pencils as well. So if you want a good laugh, then you don't want to click off just yet. So just stick with me, and maybe I will bring a smile to your face. All right, are we hydrated? Are we stretched? Because we got 24 more colors to go through. All right, so we are going to, I'm going to use the back side for this because it is pencils. It says chalk pastel. I have never worked with chalk pencils before, so this should be fun. All right, so here we have, does it come? It only comes with the numbers. Let's see, pastel pencils. It only has the number on it. There is no color name. And it does have the lightfastness on them as well. Anyway, let's swatch. I'm gonna zoom you in. This is the first. Oh, that feels weird. Oh, okay. This is the first row. I don't know, guys, I don't know if I can do this. It feels, oh, it feels like peach fuzz on this paper. Does it feel different on a different paper? Let me just switch the paper and see if that makes a difference. Okay, this is just regular Canson paper. I get it, it's chalk pastel, so it's in the name, but that initial touch and sensation, you know, threw me off a little bit. Oh no. Oh, getting goosebumps. Oh, I don't know if I can do this, guys. Oh, does it chalk pastel mean you can use it with water? Let me see. Because if that's, no. Again, I've never worked with these before with chalk pastel. Oh, I really have to. I have to force myself to do it. I will do it for you, but just know I have sensory issues. We're gonna do this really quick, okay? That was, I don't know what color that was. I don't even want to. Oh my God. Nope. 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 There aren't even pretty colors at the moment. Oh. I'm not even gonna try that one. I'm not gonna do white because white is irrelevant. Okay. Ooh. I'm hurting. We'll be done so much faster than I thought we were going to be done with these. Peach fuzz. Apricot fuzz. That's what it is. Oh my god. No, 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 no. Oh. I am so sorry, guys. I don't mean to make all of these noises, but if you know, you know. Okay, first row done. Thank God there's only 24 in here. And they're all like browns. Van Dyke, maybe? What is happening? 1, 2, 3. Okay, for someone who does not have these kinds of issues, these might be wonderful to work with. But in all honesty, I don't even want to, I can't physically do more than I am doing here right now. I will say though, and I'm talking over this because the sound and the feeling of it scraping across the page is really painful for me. I will say though, they're beautiful fall colors. So if somebody is into this and does not have my issues, then these would be a wonderful addition to whatever you want to work on this fall. But unfortunately, that is a no for me. I don't know what else I was expecting when it said, to be honest, I wasn't really paying attention when they asked me. And because I have never worked with chalk colors, like, you know, apart from using chalk on the road, like on the sidewalk, and even with that chalk, I have issues. I probably would have declined. I am so sorry, Lightwish. They're beautiful colors, but that was painful. That was painful. Okay. Here are the colors. And I'm sorry, that's the best I can do. So now you know. Chalk, pastel colored pencils is really what that means. And so, yeah, not for people who have a hard time with sensory issues. I don't know what to do with these. I will not touch them anymore. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. I wish I had a different experience with them, but even just thinking about it makes my skin feel all weird. But they are what they say they are. So, and they have some wonderful fall colors in here. So yeah, is anyone interested in those? I will pass them on gladly. So after all of that and me almost wanting to throw them out because they truly do not serve a purpose for me, I decided to let my kids try them out, and both of them said, "I don't know what you're talking about, Mom. It's fine. Yes, they're a little bit more scratchy, and you can tell that it's a different medium, but it's totally fine." So guys, it really is just me, probably. So I decided to let them have it. And then I asked one of my kids to maybe draw something for you because I felt bad that I wasn't able to do it myself. So I asked, would you be so kind and sit in front of my camera and just draw something for me? I don't care what it is. I just want to show my people that you can in fact use them and they do what they're supposed to do. So please enjoy the footage of my kid drawing you something and also showing you that, yeah, you can use your finger, you can use a blending tool to blend these colors together, and it actually looks really beautiful. And I wish I could use it because I think it would work really well with what I do, but I just can't get myself to use them anymore. So they are now residing in one of my kids' art supply stash. So sorry if I made you think that I would give them away, but I decided that they will probably have use for it more than I do, and we'll just keep them in the family for now. So I asked for feedback, and what came back was that they're, like I said, you can blend them really well. You can mix it while you're drawing on top of it really well. They get really intense, as you can see. I could not have done that myself. They also erase pretty easily, given that what you've put down is not as intense as some of those lines that you see. So overall, I'm very happy that I was able to still show you a little bit of how to use those pencils and what you can achieve with them, even though it wasn't me doing it. Anyway, that is about it for me. I hope you enjoyed these two swatching sessions. Don't forget to use my code Bettina06 if you want to purchase either the 24 or the 48 watercolor set. And unfortunately, it's not valid for the pencils, but for either of the two watercolor sets, if you use the links in the description box below the video, and you plug that in your Amazon cart, it will take 15% off. Please give my baby a round of applause for all of that effort. I truly could not have done it without. Thank you for spending some time with me today. I know it's an irregular upload, but I hope you still enjoyed it. I will be back this Friday with a new video for you. So until then, have a wonderful rest of your week.